Hello everyone, this is my Fingerstyle tutorial and arrangement for When the Party's Over by Billie Eilish. Kindly hit the like button down below if you appreciated the video and share with your friends who would be interested in learning fun guitar arrangements. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell notification icon if you don't want to miss the next tutorial. Alright, so first what you'll be needing is a guitar in standard tuning. So from top string to bottom string, top string being the high E string and bottom string being the low E string in E, B, G, D, A, E, standard tuning. And this song will not be using any capos, so whenever I refer to a fret, it will be as if I'm referring to it normally. So this is the first fret, second fret, third fret, so on. Alright, so regarding the breakdown of the song begins with an intro, followed by one verse, one chorus, a second verse, a second chorus, and then the bridge, and then it ends on a chorus and an outro right after. I'll be leaving a link in the description for you to access my tabs for this arrangement. So if you want, you could just use the tabs and you don't need to watch this tutorial if you're comfortable with doing that. If you want, you can also look at the tabs while watching this tutorial to help you understand how to read the tabs and to help you learn the arrangement better. And regarding the time signature of the song, it's in 3/3, which basically means it's just 3 beats per bar. You don't need to think about it too much, just know that it's basically, it's like this. So, don't you know I'm no good for you? 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright, so anyway, let's begin with the intro. It goes like this. Alright, so if you're looking at the tabs right now, the intro is composed of 10 bars, but 4 out of those 10 bars are just silence, it's just a rest. Alright, so first we'll be doing pinch harmonics for the entire intro. So pinch harmonic of 2nd fret on the D string. So when I say pinch harmonic, you'll be doing it 12 frets up from the fret that you're actually fretting. So since we're fretting the 2nd fret on the D string, we'll be pinching and hovering our finger over the 14th fret. Alright, so I'm picking it with my thumb while hovering, just letting it touch but not push down on the D string over the 14th fret, because that's what's 12 frets up from the 2nd fret on the D string. Alright, so first we have 2nd fret D string, so pinch on the 14th fret, and then 4th fret D string, so pinch on the 16th fret, followed by 1st fret on the G string, so pinch on the 13th fret of the G string, back to 4th fret D string, 1st fret G string, 4th fret D string, and then 2nd fret D string once again. And then just leave a silence. If you're looking at the tabs, then you'll know it's like 5 counts of silence to be exact. So this is what it sounds like. I'll count so that you understand what I mean by the silences. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we go on to the next one. You don't have to think about it that way. You could also just think about it as, alright, so just don't play for a while if you want to, or if you know how the song goes, then you can just think about the song as you're playing it. That would also work. Okay, so for the next one we have, once again, 2nd fret D string, 4th fret D string, 1st fret G string, 4th fret D string, open B string, but still pinch harmonic, so we're pinching on the 12th fret of the B string, sorry. 4th fret D string once again, ending on the 2nd fret D string. So let's try the entire intro together slowly. Alright, and once again, leave a space of silence before you start verse number 1. Alright, next up we have verse number 1. If you're looking at the tabs, it is composed of 24 bars. But if you're not looking at the tabs, it'll be composed of 4 lines, like in terms of the lyrics of the song. So I'll play through it. Verse number 1 goes like this. Alright, so that's the entire verse number 1. Now let's learn how to play it. Alright, so for the verse, the chord progression is A, C sharp minor, E, and then A. Alright, so sharp minor, A, A. In between every chord, I decided to put a transition chord, so I'm doing B. So that's what I was doing in my arrangement. You can change it up if you want to. This is just how I play my arrangement, but you can change the arrangement to however you want if you feel like it. So first we have A chord. We'll be plucking open A string, open high E string, and 2nd fret B string together. Alright, so those 3 strings. And then fret, 2nd fret high E string, 2nd fret A string. Pluck those 2 strings as well as open B string. So this is that transition B chord I was talking about earlier. So let's try that together. It goes, and then C sharp minor. So 4th fret high E string, 5th fret B string, and 4th fret A string. Alright, so move back down to that B shape once again. 2nd fret A string, 2nd fret high E string, and open B string. And then 4th fret high E string, open B string, and open low E string. So this is that E chord. And then B once again. So 2nd fret high E string, 2nd fret A string, open B string, and then back to A. So 4th fret high E string, 5th fret B string, and open A string, followed by 7th fret high E string. And then you wait some counts of silence after that, and then pluck 7th fret high E string once again. In terms of the bars, it's somewhat grouped up with the first line, but this is actually the start of the 2nd line in terms of the lyrics of the song, if that makes sense. So it's leading into the 2nd line of the verse. Alright? So let's try that entire first line of the verse together slowly. And then we have the 2nd line of the verse. So after that, it goes. Alright, so it's actually the same chord progression, but we're doing it higher up on the fretboard, okay? Because the melody sort of goes up. So first we have 9th fret high E string, 6th fret G string, and open A string together. So this is an A chord. And then we go back to the transition B, but this time it's up here. So 7th fret high E string, 7th fret low E string, and you'll be doing a pinch harmonic on the B string at the same time. The reason I'm doing this is because I don't like how the open B string sounds, so it's a bit too loud. And when we're doing a pinch harmonic, what we're doing is making it 1 octave higher. So, right? So I like that sound better than the open B string. But if you're not comfortable doing a pinch harmonic and plucking those other 2 strings at the same time, then you can do an open B string is totally fine, alright? Whatever you feel works best for you. So we have A, and then C sharp minor, 9th fret on the high E string, 9th fret on the B string, and 9th fret on the low E string. This is still C sharp minor, it's just in this shape. Alright, so it's the same as, it's just, instead of doing it in an A minor chord shape, we're doing it in an E minor chord shape. Alright. Then back to B, transition chord. And then E, so 9th fret, high E string, 6th fret, G string, and open low E string together. B once again. And then A, same as we did earlier, 9th fret high E string, 6th fret G string, and open A string. But this time, pinch harmonic, open high E string right after. So let's try those first two lines together slowly. Alright, that's great. Now next we have the final two lines of verse number 1, which are identical, almost, to the first two lines. We go back to the first line once again. So after that, pinch harmonic, open high E string. Just do the same thing that we did earlier. But this time, to start off the fourth and final line, you do it with an open high E string. If earlier, to start off the second line, we were doing 7th fret high E string, and so on, this time for the fourth line, we'll be doing open high E string, so, and so on. Does that make sense? If you're looking at the tabs right now, it would make more sense, but hopefully you understood what I meant right now as I explained it. So let's try that, alright? The third and fourth line goes like this. Fourth line. Alright, so you saw what I meant. I did an open high E string there. So you know the entire verse number 1 now. So let's play through together slowly. And then after this, we have the first chorus of the song. So I'll play through how I play the chorus in my arrangement. Alright, so now let's learn how to play that. If you're looking at the tabs, chorus number 1 is composed of 17 bars. Alright, so for chorus number 1, the first 4 bars go like this. Okay, so we have 12th fret high E string, 11th fret high E string, 9th fret high E string, 11th fret high E string, 9th fret high E string, 7th fret high E string, and then 9th fret on the B, G, and low E string. So let's try that together slowly. followed by 7th fret high E string, and then 4th fret high E string together with open B and open low E string, followed by open high E string, and then open high E string once again, but this time with 2nd fret B string and open A string. So let's try those first 4 bars of chorus number 1 together slowly. The next bar goes like this, leading into... Alright, so it's just open high E string, 2nd fret high E string, and then 4th fret high E string. Okay, let's try that together. Right, the next line of the chorus is a bit trickier. If you're not used to tapping, it's alright, don't be intimidated by it. So what we're going to be doing is... Alright, that's it. Alright, so first, to begin, we'll be fretting 4th fret, D string, 7th fret, B string, and 5th fret, high E string. Alright, so pluck those 3 strings together, and then you'll tap the 13th fret on the G string with your right hand. So let's try that. Alright, then right after that, pluck 5th fret high E string once again, and then tap once again 13th fret G string, slide down to 11th fret G string. Okay, so let's try that first bar of this line together slowly. Alright, and the next we have... Okay, so we have 4th fret on the high E string and the A string, as well as 5th fret on the B string together, those 3 strings. Tap 11th fret on the G string, pluck the high E string on 4th fret once again, tap 9th fret on the G string right after. I forgot to mention earlier that if you're looking at my tabs, you'll notice that some of the notes, the numbers are put inside boxes. That's how I signify when I'm going to be tapping the string with my right hand. So let's try everything we have so far for chorus number 1 together slowly. Alright, and next we have okay, so 4th fret high E string, open B string, and open low E string together, 2nd fret high E string, 4th fret high E string, open high E string, and then 2nd fret on the B and G string together with an open A string. So we'll try those two, what we just learned together slowly. And then we follow it up with, once again, open high E string to 2nd fret to 4th fret. And then after doing this, if you remember, we did this earlier in chorus number 1, 5 bars ago. So after doing this again, we'll go back and do the same thing that we did earlier after doing it. And then stop here at the 2nd fret B string, 2nd fret G string, and open A string together. And then instead of doing this again, we'll be doing to end chorus number 1. Alright, as I was editing, I realized that I didn't explain this part. So basically, all we're doing is open high E string twice, and then 4th fret B string, slide up to 5th fret B string, and then we end chorus number 1 on 2nd fret B string. So I'll let the clip of me playing it play once again, so that you can get a feel for the timing. Let's play chorus number 1 together slowly. And then right after doing that, we go into verse number 2. So to illustrate, this is what the ending of the chorus would sound like, leading into verse number 2 right after. And so on. Alright, good job everyone. So right now you already know the intro, verse 1, and chorus number 1. Next, let's do verse number 2. Alright, so I shall now play through verse number 2. And then after that, it goes into chorus number 2. So let's learn how to play verse number 2. Verse number 2 is composed of the same number of bars as verse number 1 is, but with some minor differences. And in the bars where it was totally silent in verse number 1, there are some extra notes added in. Alright, so let's learn how to play verse number 2. 4 lines. Let's do line number 1. Goes like this. And then leading into line number 2, ending on that. Alright, so it's actually exactly the same as the first line in verse number 1. So if you remember, A, B, C sharp minor, B, E, B, A. Except after doing this, we have, alright, so what that is 5th fret high E string, 4th fret high E string, 2nd fret high E string, open high E string, 2nd fret B string, and then 7th fret high E string after that, leading into line number 2. Alright, so let's try line 1, verse 2 together slowly. Alright, now we have line number 2, and I apologize if you can hear in the background there are croaking frogs. Sorry about that. So after that 7th fret high E string, it's exactly the same as the second line of verse number 1, except it added that. Alright, so if you remember, verse number 1, line number 2, just do the same thing. And then after this, so what we're doing here is 5th fret high E string, 4th fret high E string, 2nd fret high E string, 4th fret high E string, 2nd fret high E string, open high E string, and then 2nd fret B string. Alright, so now let's try the 2 lines of verse number 2 together slowly. Alright, then after this we have lines 3 and 4 for verse number 2, and then we're done. So line number 3 goes like this. Alright, so line number 3, once again, is exactly the same almost as the line number 3 in verse number 1 with the added. So let's play line number 3 together, and then I'll stop at the point where we added something new, and then I'll explain that new part. Okay? A, B, C sharp minor, B, E, B, A, and then. Alright, so what we're doing is pinch harmonic on the open low E string. So hover your finger over the 12th fret. Don't push down on it, just hover over it. And then pluck it 3 times, alright? Followed by open high E string twice. That double open high E string is what's leading into the 4th line. Alright, so now we have 3 out of 4 lines in verse number 2. So let's play the 3rd line that we just learned together slowly. And then now we have the 4th and final line of verse number 2. So the 4th and final line goes like this. After the double open high E string, alright, it is exactly the same as the 4th and final line of verse number 1. So it's the same structure as the 2nd and 4th line of verse number 1, as well as the 2nd line of verse number 2. Alright, so all this, same thing. And then after this we have chorus number 2, okay? So let's play the entire verse 2 together slowly so that you can get a better sense of how we stitch these 4 lines together. Alright, good job everyone. So far, you already know how to play the intro, verse 1, chorus number 1, and verse number 2. So now let's learn how to play chorus number 2. Alright, so chorus number 2 is actually identical to chorus number 1, except for the very end. So if chorus number 1 ended in chorus number 2, instead will end with, and then it leads on into the bridge. So to illustrate, I'll play the entire chorus number 2. Alright, so that was the entire chorus number 2, and then after that we have the bridge. So I will explain how to play the ending part, because the rest is the same as chorus number 1. Alright, so in chorus number 1, after we did 2nd fret B string, 2nd fret G string, and open A string together, next we did open high E string, open high E string, da-na-da. Alright, but this time for chorus number 2, instead of doing this, after we have 2nd fret B string, 2nd fret G string, and open A string together, what we'll be doing next is, so what we're doing is 2nd fret B string together with open A string, followed by 4th fret B string with open A string, and then 5th fret B string together with 6th fret G string and open A string. Alright, so what we just did, that's in the count of 1 bar, so 3. 1, 2, 3. Earlier in chorus number 1, it was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So, technically speaking, chorus number 2 is shorter in terms of bars. Alright, so let's now play the entire chorus number 2 together slowly, including that different ending. Alright, next we have the bridge. Before I play the bridge, I'll start from the ending of chorus number 2 to illustrate how it transitions into the bridge. Alright, so the ending of chorus number 2, bridge. Okay? And then after that, we have the third and final chorus. So let's learn how to play the bridge. Alright, if you're looking at the tabs, the bridge is composed of 19 bars in my arrangement, and the chord progression is different from the rest of the song. The bridge is composed of 4 lines in terms of the lyrics. So let's play line number 1, and then let's break it down, how to play it. Alright, so what we're doing is 2nd fret low E string together with 2nd fret G string and 2nd fret B string. And then next, open high E string right after, and then another open high E string after that. But the timing of it goes like this. Alright, then after that we have open high E string once again, but together with 2nd fret low E string. And then 2nd fret B string, open B string, and then 1st fret G string, open B string, and open low E string together. And then 2nd fret B string and open low E string together. 5th fret high E string, but I slide up from an arbitrary fret. So you can slide up from the 4th fret, or the 3rd fret, or the 2nd fret, whichever you feel works best. Anyway, after that, open low E string and 2nd fret B string. Slide up to the 5th fret on the high E string, and then 4th fret high E string. So that's the first line of the bridge. Let's play through it, but let's actually start from the ending of chorus number 2, so that you get a feel for how to stitch the parts of the song together. So the ending of chorus number 2. Alright, Next we have the second line, and it goes like this. Alright, so we have second fret B string, second fret G string, and second fret low E string together once again, followed by open high E string, and then second fret B string, and then open high E string once again with second fret low E string, second fret B string, fourth fret high E string but slide up from an arbitrary area once again, and then fourth fret high E string once again together with open B string and open low E string, and then second fret high E string, pull off the open high E string. And then we have second fret high E string, open B string, and second fret A string together, followed by, so I put my pinky on the fourth fret of the G string, I have an open B string, and I have my finger still on the second fret of the high E string. So I alternate between the G string, the top two strings, G string, top two strings, G string once again. So let's try the first two lines of the bridge together slowly. Alright, next we have the third line of the bridge. So right after doing this, the third line goes like this. Okay, so we have second fret on the high E string and second fret on the A string together, open B string, second fret high E string, open B string, fourth fret high E string together with second fret A string, open B string, second fret high E string once again, pull off the open high E string, and then here we're gonna have to kind of squish our fingers together, so it's gonna be a little difficult. I have big fingers, so it's kind of hard for me, but what we're doing is fourth fret B string, second fret G string, open A string together, and then slide down that fourth fret B string to second fret B string. Alright, so it sounds like this. You can see my fingers are kind of squished together. And then right after that we have open A string, second fret B string, second fret G string together, slide up 2 frets on the B and the G string, so fourth fret B string, fourth fret G string, and open A string together, and then fifth fret B string and sixth fret G string together with open A string. And that's the third line of the bridge. So let's try that third line together slowly. Now we have the fourth and final line of the bridge. So it goes like this. Alright, so what we're doing is second fret high E string together with second fret A string, fourth fret high E string, open high E string, fourth fret B string, and then pinch harmonic on the open A string but on the 7th fret this time. Alright, so let your finger hover over the 7th fret, don't push down, and then pluck it with your other finger. So I'm using my thumb to pluck and my pointer finger to hover over the string once, and then I'm using my other finger to mute the D string just in case I accidentally pluck it so that it doesn't ring out. Alright, so let's try that. Okay, and then next we have second fret B string. and then 7th fret open A string 3 more times once again. Okay, so let's try that 4th and final bar together slowly before trying the entire bridge together slowly. Alright, so let's play the entire bridge together slowly, but let's start at the end of chorus number 2 so that you get a feel for how to stitch the chorus number 2 into the bridge. Alright, so chorus number 2 ends with. Okay, then after that we'll be doing the bridge. So let's start from there. And then right after that we have chorus number 3. So let's learn how to play that next. Alright, so we're down to the last part of the arrangement, chorus number 3, and then this is the entire song already. So I'll play chorus number 3 now. Alright, so chorus number 3 is very different from choruses 1 and 2, both in my arrangement and in the original song by Billie Eilish. Okay, so it's a lot softer and quieter, it's more mellow sounding. Alright, so we have 3 lines, same as other choruses, same number of lines, it just has a different vibe going on. Alright, so after the bridge, which ends in those pinches of the 7th fret open A string, I'll play line number 1, alright? Starting from the end of the bridge so that you see how it stitches into chorus number 3. Okay, so for line number 1, what we're doing is fifth fret B string, 4th fret B string, 2nd fret B string, 4th fret B string, 2nd fret B string once again, open B string, and then 4th fret on the A string and 6th fret on the D string together. Okay, so let's try that together slowly. Followed by 4th fret on the G string, and then 1st fret G string together with open low E string. 1st fret G string once again, and then open A string, and then 1st fret G string once more. And then you follow that with pinch harmonics. So if earlier we were doing, this time we'll be doing it in the pinch harmonic version. So pinch 12 frets up from whatever you're actually fretting, alright? So open high E string, 2nd fret high E string, so pinch on the 14th fret, and then 4th fret high E string, so pinch on the 16th fret. Okay, so let's try that entire first line together slowly, but let's actually start from the ending of the bridge so that you get a better sense of how to stitch it into chorus number 3. Alright, next we have line number 2, and it goes like this. Alright, I apologize for the frog noises that you might hear. I'm not sure if you hear them, but they sound very loud to me. Normally I would stop filming for tonight and then film when there's a night when there are no frogs, but they've been making a lot of noise recently, so I decided to just film so that I can keep putting out more tutorials for you guys out there. Okay, so please let me know if you would rather I put out the tutorials more slowly, but avoid these background noise issues like the frogs, or if you're okay with me still videoing and sometimes hearing it, just let me know down in the comments below. Thank you. Alright, so for line number 2 in chorus number 3, if you noticed, we're actually playing the same melody. So in line number 1, we were actually playing the same melody as well, but one whole octave lower. So we were doing, in choruses 1 and 2, this time we were doing, right? So for line number 2, we're still playing the same melody and the same range of notes, okay? So what we're doing is, okay, so we have 4th fret D string together with 5th fret high E string, followed by 4th fret high E string, 5th fret high E string once again, 4th fret high E string, 2nd fret high E string, 4th fret on the high E string and the A string together, 2nd fret high E string, 4th fret high E string, open high E string, 4th fret high E string together with open low E string, 2nd fret high E string, 4th fret high E string, open high E string, and then 2nd fret B string and open A string together. And then the same pinch harmonic sequence after, leading into the next line. Alright, so 0, 2, 4 on the high E string, but pinching 12 frets up. So let's try line number 2 together slowly. Alright, next we have line number 3, the final line of chorus number 3. So it goes like this. And then that's the end of the song. So let's learn how to play this final line. So we have 4th fret D string once again and 5th fret high E string together. 4th fret high E string, 5th fret high E string, 4th fret high E string, 2nd fret high E string, and then 4th fret high E string and 4th fret A string together once again. 2nd fret high E string, 4th fret high E string, open high E string, and then 4th fret high E string together with open low E string, 2nd fret high E string, 4th fret high E string, open high E string, and then we have 2nd fret B string and open A string together, and then we end the song with 6th fret G string, 5th fret B string, and the pinch harmonic 12 frets up from 5th fret high E string. So that's 17th fret on the high E string, pinching, fretting the 5th fret. Alright, so it should sound like this. Okay, so let's try the entire chorus 3 together slowly. Alright, good job everyone. You learned the entire arrangement. So once again, the order is intro, verse 1, verse 2, chorus 2, bridge, and then ending with chorus number 3. Alright, so congrats on making it to the end of the video, and thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed and that you were able to learn something. Once again, kindly leave a like down below if you appreciated the video, and subscribe if you don't want to miss the next tutorial. Share with your friends if you know anyone who'd be interested in learning this arrangement or some fun guitar arrangements. And leave a song request down below if you have any that you would like me to make a tutorial for or a cover of. And also, if you have any concerns or questions regarding this particular arrangement, feel free to leave it down there as well. If you want to learn more arrangements from me, I encourage you to check out my channel, and you'll see that there are some more tutorials there that you might be interested in. Alright, that's it for this video, and thank you for watching.